Hey, welcome back. So at the end of the last lecture, we created our formula and we used it to update our assignment here so that our newly created formula is available in the value section, and that will fix our bug. And the next step is that, well, we kind of did everything we needed to do with this flow, but we're learning really fast. We started with basically nothing, and now we're already building, if statements, so like branching logic inside of our flow to handle bugs. As part of that, fast-paced learning, I want to take the next step and just show you something that we haven't worked with before, and that's called the Flow Debugger. And so there's a button here inside of the Flow Builder, and it's called Debug. And when you press this button, you effectively get to debug the flow. And so what does that mean? Basically, what the debugger does is allow us to emulate changes to records inside of the flow where the records will be rolled back automatically. So we could pick a task, for example, and I don't know, tasks used to be buggy, so we'll see if it works or not with the latest release. But we can pick a task and we can run the flow against that task in order to see how the functionality works in a safe way. And so I have the debug open and I'm going to pick a task. And if I do updated, let's see. Okay, yeah, that's the error. So the task object is unfortunately not supported here. That's no problem. We'll just need to make a minor update. So with many other records, this update would show you all the fields listed in the task or whatever the object is. So if it was the account, you would see all the account fields. And then you could actually change one of the account fields in specific dropdowns here, and then the flow would run based on that. It's no problem that that's not set up. We just have to do something special with our task. So I'm going to go back here to the task, and I'm just going to change the owner. So I'm going to change the owner of this task, and I'm going to set it to myself, Nick Freights. We'll press save. And so now what I was doing is I just want the assigned coordinator and the owner to be different. And so we'll navigate back to our flow, and I can just skip the start condition requirements. And this is a helpful box that I can press so that I don't actually need to change the pick list. I can just say, for the purposes of testing, assume that change happened, and we'll skip the start condition requirements, and we'll just run the flow as if the record has been updated. And we'll run it against this record. So I'm going to press run. The final thing to note is this run flow in rollback mode. And that means that whatever we do in this debugger, so long as this box is checked, it will not be saved in Salesforce. So we kind of get our own little playground where we can change records without it actually being saved. So I'll press run. And we'll see, a couple of things happen. So a new screen pops up on the right that we haven't seen before. And we'll also see that we have a completed I don't know what you call that, bubble, a completed bubble shows up here. And then the gray lines on our flow canvas actually turn yellow. And so all of the lines here are yellow because we just have one linear path. If we had branching logic, let's say we had several decision elements, the flow builder would actually highlight the path that the logic took and like what happened along the way. And that's really helpful when you have like big, branching flows that you need to debug. So let's just take a quick look here on the right-hand side at the debugger. And so we get our debug details section, and you see how the interview started. And so I don't know why, but flows are often called interviews in the canvas. You could also think of this as like the transaction in Salesforce. So there's like some technical jargon around flows starting, and interview is one of those words. So just know that, and it's just like, hey, this is how the flow kicked off. And you can see there's a little statement here. It says this debug run was triggered as if the task record was updated. And then we get some context on who the user was and the actual ID of the task. And that's really important. You can see that our global record variable here, record, equals task, and then it has the ID. And this ID corresponds with the actual ID of the task. And for those of you who don't know, the ID of every record in Salesforce will be in the URL when you're looking at that record in the UI. And sure enough, this ID, 6GMAB, 6GMAB, matches over here where we have 6GMAB. We look at the start condition requirements and we just say, oh, okay, these were skipped because it was a debug log or debug run. And then, after the start element, just as it does on the canvas, we then go to our get records. And we can see what the flow is actually doing in real time. So it says find all user records where the name equals the record assigned coordinator. And so you'll recall when we set up our pick list here, that's exactly how we set it up. It says get all the users where the name equals the record assigned coordinator. And we did that dynamically with our global variable. In the debug run, you can actually see what was evaluated. So, the logic is use the task, the global variable assigned coordinator, and then in the parentheses next to it, you actually get to see what the legitimate value was. And that's really, really helpful for debugging. If this was spelled wrong or something, we would actually get to see the input. And then we see what fields were stored. So we just are storing the ID, and we see a result. So yes, we successfully found the record. Then we go back to our assignment, and we see our record owner equals our owner ID formula. And so just to clarify that, we are saying that the value of our task, we are making an assignment to set the owner ID equal to our owner ID formula. And again, our owner ID formula is shown, I guess the result of that is shown here. So it's like, okay, set the owner ID equal, and this is the value that gets spit out. And again, that's really helpful because if something isn't changing the way you're expecting, or you're not sure why a certain value is being set or not, you can come in here into the debug and see line by line, variable by variable, formula by formula, exactly how things are evaluating. And that's super powerful, and we'll get more experience with that. But the main point I want to make is that this debug details is not just a bunch of gobbledygook. So just know that this is, if you ever get stuck troubleshooting, always come back to the debug log. This is your this is your path out of the darkness. So going back to the debug details, we see that the flow was rolled back because we ran it in rollback mode. And then we see that the interview finished. And again, that's just the fancy speak for, hey, the flow finished. And then we get some telemetry, some reporting or extra details here where it's like the flow ran for 0.58 seconds. And so that's the transaction execution time, which is half a second. And that's pretty good, I guess. I feel like from the end user perspective, if you update the task and it takes less than a half second for that flow to run, that would be great. If it took like 8 seconds to run, that would be, kind of annoying. So that's kind of how I think about it. And I don't know, it might be a useful starting place for you. So with all that said, we're learning really, really quickly. We've established a baseline. We went through all the different data elements. We went through some of the logical operators. We've now built 2 flows. We've used a formula. We've done a lookup element. We've changed the owner. And now we know about debug details. So you're learning really quickly. I hope you're feeling it, because you should be. And great job coming this far. So that's it for this challenge. We'll meet up in the next lecture where we'll just do a quick recap and kind of go through the story of letting Sherry know that we built this flow and that it's working. And yeah, I'll see you there. Oh, wait, before we go, just save your flow and press activate so that you have the most recent version active. All right, thanks. See you later.